right, the tweets are done, the Instagrams are done, the Facebooks are done, the Snapchats are done, the duns or the socials are duns and duns and done.
Duns. Nice. Then let's do this.
That's fucking
We should be live on the YouTube.
Yeah.
Let's see, Joey, do we got a chat?
There we go.
Boom.
Yeah.
The chats
I was on
are
the
done,
wrong one.
and this is a done,
right,
and that's
so-
a done, and this
I was on the
is a done.
6:30 one, not the 7 o'clock one.
There's two of them in there?
There was two of them. I don't know.
Oh, okay.
Whatever.
All right, well, then
All
I'm
that
gonna have
matters
to...
is the one that we're on now, and you better be happy to be here.
Let me figure that out for a second.
Really? I didn't realize it was behind you.
What?
Caitlin Clark.
Oh, yeah. Well, when I saw it was her birthday, I'm like, oh, that timing is
That's funny. I'm only
perfect.
showing one on here. That's interesting.
Timing.
I believe you.
I don't know. That's why it was
Perfect,
disabled. Because
Louis.
everything works out. It doesn't matter.
All good.
Louis,
We are
it
good,
is
and we are
perfect.
live, and we are happy
Louis is
to
perfect.
be here.
And we got our number 4 co-host with us here, Louis.
Louis. All right, well, let's say we kick this off.
I just love that. I'm like, guys, I'll be there early.
Right on time.
Right on time.
I took my team to happy hour.
Then before we even hit the record button here, this is YouTube only. Riddle me this, Batman. Why would you think you would be early on a day you're taking coworkers out for a
We were
drink?
supposed to get to the bar at 4.
But that never happens.
Supposed to.
Because work. So we were supposed to get there at 4. So I figured I'd be able to leave by, and like I scheduled it 4 to 6. I'm like, all right, so I'm the one that pays the tab. All right, like corporate card. So don't feel bad for me. Corporate card, swipe that American Express, that Amex baby. Let's go, swipe. But I figured 4 to 6. But my dumbass scheduled a meeting for 3:30 to 3:45. That half my team showed up for at 3:40. And then I had a 3:45 to 4 because the idea was to get them all there by 4 o'clock and then me get there shortly after. And instead, like at 3:50, we get an email from a client. This blew up. That went wrong. We got to fix this. And it just turns and it just snowballs. So by the time I got there, it was 4:30. And then...
Because we're not opposed to starting early. I'll start it whatever time you guys want. I am good.
Dave's belly would love if we started earlier. Because by 8 o'clock, we know that the hangriness slowly starts to kick in. It's not till like 8:15, 8:20 where Dave's like, you guys do whatever the hell you want. I'm wrapping up and I'm going home because I'm hungry. Now I had 2 beers and I'm not going to keep drinking, which means I'm going to get really tired.
All right.
And instead, that's going to be the
Well,
motivator.
especially when we bring up topics like the Jets, you're probably going to be bored to death.
Why?
I like the Aaron Glenn hire if he puts the
stop.
right guys around.
How do you put the right guys around him without a GM?
Don't. Come on. You haven't hit the record button.
Anyway.
YouTube gets to watch the nonsense and the BS to start our show that we have some fun with.
Louis.
The
See
non-sports
some Louis.
nonsense.
Yeah, the non-sports stuff. But once you hit record, then we dive into it, right? So, feels so good to be back. Could be appropriate for Aaron Glenn as well. Maybe it feels good to be back. We're going to have to start the show and find out. Come on, Louis. Come on, there you go, Louis. Get it.
It's good to be back.
I can just barely see him.
Back with my
you saw his
friends.
nose, kind of pop
We
up.
are back.
So good to be back.
It is good to be back.
Now-
once again.
Back
now-
one day after my birthday.
Happy 41st.
Yeah, I'm an
birthday,
old man.
Mr. Erich.
I am very old. So it happens.
Happy 41st.
Yeah. Shout out to Mike out there too. I remember
Yeah,
sharing
no,
a birthday with
I
him.
made sure to text Mike yesterday too.
Oh,
Wish him
really?
a happy birthday.
Yeah,
It's
believe it or
ironic.
not, we're on
Yeah.
the
Happy birthday, Mike.
and
Hey.
last night at Hibachi, believe it or not, you know,
Was he there?
I spell my name Erich a little weirdly, Erich, a little different than most. My waiter at the table says to me, very first thing he says is, "Oh, hey, you know, everybody, blah blah blah," and he's like, "Oh yeah, what's your name?" And I was like, "Oh, Erich." He goes, I'll almost guarantee you don't spell your name like I do," and I was like, "I bet you I do." And he was like, no, very rare. Nobody ever spells it like this. And I was like, I bet I do.
Like, bro, you're setting me up here. Like, I'm money. I already know I'm winning this.
Yeah. And sure enough, he was another Erich with an H. So, we're a rare breed. We're hard to find out there, but you'll find us.
I mean,
we're there.
There is no denying, sir, that you are a rare breed. I mean, if there is one great thing our fathers did with their lives, it was introducing the two of us.
That is true.
And you, sir, are a rare breed.
I'm a horse of a different color, they say.
Oh, you with that. You're the guy that gets led to water to drink it, and you just dive right into the damn pool.
Yeah.
Like, you're going to drink it, but you're also going to swim in it, and you're going to say, this is me. You could live with it. You could deal with it. You could accept it. But that also, I think, kind of is what makes the three of us gel so well. Because God knows I am far from normal. And Joey, I've known since walking to school together in 4th grade.
4th grade.
I can promise you, normal and him are not in the same book, let alone in the same category. So we mesh well.
But
we mesh well.
and him and his sports teams mesh well because they don't do anything normally either. And I mean, we're going to start right there before we even dive into the playoffs.
You're not alone. I'm right here with you, brother.
The Jets hire their head coach. Great. Well, first of all, he's a defensive head coach. Mm-hmm. And second of all, you have no GM.
Nah, I think they're.
Is this Robert Saleh 2.0?
It's not Saleh 2.0 because they're hiring, I believe, some guy from the Lions who's now an assistant GM with Washington this year. Lance Newark, I think his name is. Something like that.
Newark.
Lance Newark?
So I've never heard of him. He's been with Detroit. Him and Aaron Glenn.
So what is it you like about Aaron Glenn?
This is the only thing I like about Aaron Glenn was he was a good Jet while he was on the team. So he went through the crappy times with Rich Kotite and Pete Carroll. But then he was also there with Parcells, and I think he was there 1 year with Herm. So he went from the lowest of lows to a stable organization. That's all I really like because I think he's somebody with it. I mean, like Rex, he's like, I'm a Jet. I know what it takes to be a Jet. Well, I didn't want him to represent the Jets again because he had 2 good years and then 4 terrible years. But Aaron Glenn represents the Jet. He doesn't want to see this organization being crap and everybody talking crap about them. So we have no idea how he's going to be. We have no clue because he's a first-time head coach once again. Why? I think the only guy Woody has ever hired that wasn't a first-time head coach was Adam Gase. I think that's the only one.
So that didn't go well.
No.
So, I mean, track record says maybe hiring a first-time head coach isn't a bad idea.
But we'll see what happens, man. I was watching the. You can't do that. You have no idea. Nobody has any clue how.
I'm sorry, but
there's no track record of it.
You're 100% right, but it's the no track record that would make me a little bit like pause. You need somebody with a track record. You need somebody that's going to come in and fix this organization, get it right, get the ship righted. I don't know if it's a first-time guy. I'm sorry. Like, I like the Detroit program. I like, but again, Ben Johnson going. Now he's going, like,
I'm shocked
again,
Ben
they're not
Johnson
Dan Campbell, though. Like, I know you guys want Dan Campbell, but you're more likely, I think, and I'm going to die on this hill, you're more likely to get Robert Saleh 2.0 than Dan Campbell 2.0. Dave, what do you think about that?
I don't know, man. I don't know about that one. I know you just sent it to Dave real quick, but I don't think he's going to be Saleh 2.0. I really don't. Just because he was an actual player. Saleh was never a player. And he actually has blood, sweat, and tears into the organization. I think that has a lot to do with it. He doesn't want to go out embarrassing himself. He's tired of the Jets being embarrassed. That's what I like. So, Dave, what are your thoughts on the hire?
Well, I appreciate you guys wanting me to bring my expertise, knowledge into this because, I know everything that needs to be known. Look, I look at it like this. I think there's some positive to bringing in a guy that has a love or connection to the franchise. I think Aaron Glenn is a guy who gets the most out of his players from what we have seen. I mean, after Hutchinson went down and the other 10 guys they had go down on defense to IR, right? Not miss a week here, miss a week there, but like go down on IR and be done for the year. To have that defense be as competitive as they were and consistent as they were, I think that's a good sign. But this is going to boil down, and one of the big things I don't like is when a head coach comes in and they retain play calling, right? Whether it's defensive or offensive, I'm not a fan of that. As a head coach, your job is to be CEO of that football team. Let your offensive coordinator and your defensive coordinator develop those schemes. Yes, you're going to have your input and your thoughts and help make adjustments where necessary, so on and so forth. But you need to be a leader of men. You need to be a man that oversees the operations and stops things from going really bad before they get really bad, and also needs to stop people from getting really high when things are going really well. If Aaron Glenn has the ability to be a leader of men, which he is shown to some extent in Detroit from what we have access to and the information we know, then there's no reason to think he can't be a good head coach. With that said, look, at some point or another, even Bill Belichick, even Don Shula, Mike Ditka, some of the greatest coaches in NFL history were first-time head coaches. So to sit there and just say, hey, as a first-time head coach, it's a bad hire, I don't think is fair.
No, but all those coaches you just mentioned were in a different era. And they were in an era where you gave coaches the ability to do that. In today's day and era, if a coach isn't working, 2 years, that's what they got to work with. Like, you don't have a coach that's going to be like a Shula or somebody else or Parcells is going to be somewhere for 10, 15 years, and you just know that, so you let them build the program.
Figure it out and learn it. I couldn't agree more. But simultaneously, you saw how the Jets handled Saleh, right?
Terribly.
He could have been fired last year, but they kept him. He probably could have been fired the year before that, and they kept him. So you got to say, I will never sit here and call Woody Johnson a good owner. I will not do that. I will also say that I do think it's extremely idiotic to hire a GM or hire a head coach before you hire a GM. Because the GM is the guy that can potentially keep his job while the head coach loses his job. So when you bring in a head coach before the GM, you're really changing up the pecking order that has been established in NFL franchises. So that makes me a little uncomfortable. But like Joey was touching on, right? If they're bringing in a guy that Aaron Glenn has worked with before and that Aaron Glenn respects and that respects Aaron Glenn, then you probably avoid what could be a major disaster. There's no way to tell. Until the guy coaches, until he's able to put his roster together, is Rodgers coming back? Is Rodgers not coming back? Do they need to go after a quarterback? Do they not need to go after a quarterback? Are they taking best player available? Like, until you start seeing some of these things unfold, the only judgment you can make on Aaron Glenn is he did a hell of a job in Detroit, and he earned the right to get a head coaching opportunity. Bare minimum, get the interviews. And he did the interview, and he did well enough that he won it.
He went where he wanted to go. He wanted to be the head coach of the Jets. He was a former player of the Jets, former first-round pick of the Jets. He did want to coach the Jets, yes.
And you talked about Dan Campbell 2.0. What was Dan Campbell? A former Detroit Lions player that wanted to coach in Detroit, ended up with an interim tag, got the job, and in his first 2 seasons was, I think, 4-19. And here they are, 2 years in a row of winning the division. Last year, lost in the NFC Championship game. This year, lost the game to Washington, who, God willing, just because I don't want to see the Eagles in the Super Bowl have some Cinderella run going in them, because we'll get to the Cowboys in my miserable life at some point, or hopefully we skip all over it and I don't have to talk about it more than I've already have in the last week.
I gotta be honest. I got nothing to say about your Cowboys.
Oh, thank God, because they suck and I hate everything about them.
No, we got too much good football ahead of us
All right,
and
good.
stuff going on to worry about what the Cowboys are doing.
To bring my Aaron Glenn comments, thoughts, process. You don't know until he gets the opportunity to truly be the coach. But I don't think it's a bad hire in any means when it comes down to the available coaches that are out there. Like, to me, Chicago getting Ben Johnson is basically neck and neck with the Jets getting Aaron Glenn. The only difference to me is it's an offensive league, and Chicago has who they believe. Now, I'm pretty sure everybody in this room doesn't agree with Chicago, but who Chicago believes has their quarterback of the future that can grow with this coach. The Jets don't have that. Even if Rodgers comes back, Rodgers is not growing with Aaron Glenn. At some point, Rodgers is done, and if things go well for Glenn, he's still the head coach of this team. So my final thoughts is very simply, I think it's a good hire. It could end up being a bad hire. It could end up being a great hire. But until we see him coaching games, until we see how everything unfolds over the next couple months, there's no way to come with a concrete opinion.
I would have really have loved this for the Jets if they would have done it the right way. If they would have got the GM first. If they would have done certain. To me, this is just another Jet move, and I hate to say that because I don't hate the Jets. I really don't. I dislike the Cowboys and the Eagles much more than I dislike the Jets. I have no ill will towards the Jets. Kind of like my feelings towards the Mets. They're just the Mets. They're over there. They do their thing. They're like But at the same time, the Jets just can't help but not get they can't get out of their own way. They can't do anything about it. They can't get it right. And I hope they get it right because Aaron Glenn's the right guy to get it with. He's a former player. He wants to be there. He wants to make it work. But again, all the variables you talked about, the Rodgers, are you going to draft a quarterback? What are you going to do? This, that, and the other. It's not set up for success for him. And that's what I don't like about it. Is he's not stepping into a role to be, it's not going to be successful. Maybe not the first few years, but are they going to have...
Are they going to give him the time?
Are they going to give him the time? Are they going to give him the time post Rodgers?
It's a 5-year deal.
Yeah.
How many? Yeah, well, a lot of coaches get 5-year deals. How many make 5 years?
I would say at least 3, though. You give him 3 years.
You have to do 3.
To
me, that's where the Giants really screwed themselves, and why I understand why some people want to see Dable go, but I think they realized that over the last 3 coaching hires before Dable were 2 years and gone. Mm-hmm. You can't have turnover like that at the highest level.
Well, because they listened to their fans on those. The fans wanted
McAdoo sucked.
McAdoo.
Judge sucked. They weren't good at you. Judge was a special teams coordinator.
Whichever coach did Eli wrong, he was the one that I was cool with seeing fired in 2 years. Eli, you should have let Eli finish the season, get his starts in. Even if all you did was let him go out for the first play of the game, and then took him out, that was messed up to ruin his start streak because that is arguably the hardest record to break in the NFL. It's just such a physical game. For him to reach the level he reached and then to decide, hey, we're going to not start you in week 15 or 16, and then we'll bring you back for week 16 or 17 to start again. That was one of the most disrespectful things I've ever seen somebody do to a future Hall of Fame quarterback. In my opinion, a second ballot guy, but we've gone down that rabbit hole, so we won't do that again. But
he's a first ballot. Same way with CC. Glad CC got in. Not to go.
I figured you guys.
We're straying too far from the topic, but I'm wrapping it up by saying it's obviously a wait and see on Aaron Glenn, but I just wish that the Jets would have done things by getting the GM first and then letting the GM hire their coach. But we'll see how it works out. So far, not working out for the Giants real great with Shane and Dable coming over. So maybe it'll be better success for your Jets, but I don't know. Time will tell.
Exactly. Time will tell.
But I don't
hate it. I don't love it.
Speaking of those Detroit Lions, because they're going to be a different team next year. I don't care what you say. You can't lose your offensive coordinator and your defensive coordinator and think you're coming back as the exact same team. It's not going to happen. You're going to have different philosophies. You're going to have different things going on. I know Campbell's still the CEO, but you're not going to bring in a guy to just have him, do whatever you say. You want him to bring something to the table too. So the Lions, to be honest, this is a disappointing loss for the Lions. At home, coming off a year with only 2 losses, getting the bye, being the first seed, doing everything they did. And to be honest, they put up points, but the defense, I don't know, I think they finally hit that wall. They finally hit it where it was one injury too many and things going on. I don't know. Maybe you could just...
I completely blame this loss on Jared Goff.
5 turnovers doesn't help.
You drive down the field.
Definitely does not help.
You drive down the field, you go up 7-0. Yes, your defense gives up a touchdown, ties the game. The following possession, you fumble the... Or no, I'm sorry, it was 7-3. You end up fumbling the ball inside the red zone. Washington capitalizes. 1 or 2 possessions later, you throw an interception to the house. Another couple possessions later, you throw another interception on your side of the 50. Couple possessions later, this loss to me is on Jared Goff as much as the Ravens' loss is on Mark Andrews. Jared Goff cost this team the game. Or at least at the bare minimum, Jared Goff cost this team the chance to win this game. And I know Detroit loves Jared Goff, and Detroit is filled with some really great fans. And when it's all said and done, they're not going to just throw the guy under the bus and give up on him. But this loss is on Jared Goff. And outside of that, this loss is on the fact that Gibbs had 14 carries. Montgomery, I don't even think, hit 10 carries. This is a run-first team, and your quarterback ended up throwing the ball 40 times.
We actually have a clip of Jared Goff after the game talking about his performance.
No, I thought it generally sucked. I didn't think it was a specific suck. I thought it was like an all-encompassing type of suck. So, we're going to try and rectify that. But for right now, I'm going to be pretty pissed about it.
I mean, I think he understands.
Where's
5
AI
turnovers
when you need it just to put Goff's voice over that quote? Seriously. But no, defensively, you're spot on. And Joey, I know you mentioned it when we were texting earlier today, right? The injuries really took away from what the defense can do. But they have shown they could win with the roster that they have. But how many teams win with 5 turnovers?
Not many, man. Not many.
The only game I can think of as a Cowboys fan, watching the Cowboys have 5 turnovers on Monday night at Buffalo when Romo was quarterback and they still pulled out the win. And I was so excited, I ripped my jersey and my shirt off, and I did a 3-block loop around sprint outside of my house because I couldn't believe they won the game. That's how crazy it is to win a game with 5 turnovers, is that in a regular season football game, I ripped my shirt off and ran outside when it was 40, 35 degrees and did a 3-block circle because I couldn't believe they won. In a playoff game, you're out your damn mind. I guarantee if you go through NFL history since the Super Bowl era started in 1970, I guarantee if you go that far back, maybe one team has won by having 5 turnovers. And I bet you that team forced 4. So they only lost the turnover battle by 1. That game, that loss to me is on Jared Goff just as much as the Ravens' loss is on Mark Andrews. It's a team game. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. That defense gave up, 28 in the second quarter, 14 in the fourth. 42 points in just 2 quarters. Detroit scored 31 points. Imagine if you don't have 5 turnovers.
Hey, you probably win the game.
That's crazy. If only 2 of those 5 possessions turned to touchdowns, they dropped 48. So that to me, look, Washington, what they did, special, good for them. 2 playoff wins. Jaden Daniels looks like the real deal. I've said it before, I'll say it again. Until you're through season 3, I don't know what kind of quarterback you are, so he's got a long way to go before I anoint him, the second coming of anybody. But Jared Goff cost his team that game. The defense didn't help, but Jared Goff cost his team that game. That's my thoughts on that game.
I really can't argue. Yeah, I want to, but I really can't. I mean, it's just disappointing. Like, this should have been like the Eagles Lions should have been our NFC Championship game, not Commanders Eagles. And I hate to say it, but like, this Commanders team, they're a lot better. And I mean, they turned it around quick. All it took was a quarterback. All it took was the right guy.
And new ownership.
Well, yeah, but the new ownership came a couple years ago.
Just
quarterback
literally
head coach.
2 years ago.
That's it.
New ownership came in at the beginning of last season.
Was it though? Because
Yeah.
I know it had been years in the works though with Snyder. And
Oh
all.
yeah, no, it was literally just the beginning of last year.
And
that they came
I'm
in.
hearing rumors they may go back to the old logo.
It's not going to happen.
I don't know. I'm hearing things about
I
it.
mean, maybe Trump writes a fucking.
No, nothing
pardon.
about him. It's actually
I like
about like the
WFT.
tribe that the logo was from, and that because it's actually like it's not like when the Indians had it with Chief Wahoo, and it was a characterization of like this was actually a chief. So it was like it means a little bit more, I think, to the tribe.
I mean,
but
Washington Redskins flows so much nicer than Washington Commanders. So I mean,
It does.
I'd be all good with it. It wouldn't bother me. But that's teach their own.
So
Yeah, no.
moving on to the next game. I mean, going back, we'll keep it on Saturday. I don't know what you guys got any thoughts on the Texans Chiefs? I mean, Chiefs win the game, but it wasn't like super
Nothing exciting,
convincing
man.
win. It wasn't the game where you're like, oh my god, the Chiefs are but they
Chiefs
just
got
keep
every
winning.
Call, bro. Every call they get, man. It's unbelievable.
Playoff Travis Kelce.
They swear they don't get them. Patrick Mahomes came out and literally said it. He goes, "No, the refs aren't. The refs don't have a
Hey,
bias."
I saw a stat today since Josh Allen's career, or Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes have been in the league at the same time. I don't know whose career started first off the top of my head. I think it was Mahomes.
I think Mahomes too.
But since Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes have played in the league at the same time, per 100 dropbacks, Josh Allen gets more calls than Patrick Mahomes.
Okay.
So, but I'm just saying,
Goes to what Mahomes is saying.
but that's what I
But
mean.
yet you watch the game and you can't help but feel like the refs
those
are.
two roughing the passer calls were ridiculous. I mean, the one call, the two Texans players hit each other. They didn't even touch them. They hit each other.
That was one that baffled everybody.
They
It was all over
helmet each other.
It was all over X. It was all over social
Erich,
media.
where's
Like
your tinfoil hat? Where is it? Because I like wearing it. Because they want it. They don't know if the Chiefs are gonna win it, but they want the Chiefs in the Super Bowl, bro. They do.
oh, they definitely. do.
NFL wants them in the Super Bowl.
Well, I mean, you saw at the game, you had your girl Caitlin Clark. By the way, for anybody that can't see this wonderful new memorabilia that's sitting behind me,
It'll have a case by next week.
it's going to be in a case by next week. We have
That's
a
cool, bro.
signed Caitlin Clark basketball. And Eric, can you tell the people why we have a signed Caitlin Clark basketball?
Because nobody talks more WNBA than we do.
Freaking boom, baby, right
And
there.
speaking of which, it's her birthday today too.
So happy birthday,
birthday,
Caitlin Clark.
So
Shout out to you.
Shout out to
Happy
Caitlin.
birthday, Eric.
He gets a birthday gift, and today's her birthday. But she was also spending Saturday
At the game with
in the
T-Swift.
press box,
That's so cool.
chilling with Swifties, including the one and only Swift, Miss Taylor Swift. So she's living her best life. You now, sir, at 41 years old, are living your best life.
Oh yeah.
But more importantly, again, I genuinely hate to think games are rigged. I want to believe that it is determined by the men that are on the field and on the sidelines wearing the NFL jerseys, not the referee uniform. But some of those two calls, man, that literally gave the Chiefs first downs on third downs. It's rough. It's rough. It's a bad look. It's a bad.
Not
bad
saying
look.
it's rigged, but
I mean, if Taylor Swift was doing a halftime show, I 100%. I'd put every dollar I had that it was rigged. But
we'll see what
That's
happens.
neither here nor
man.
there.
We'll see what happens.
the Texans need a better offensive line. That to me is their biggest issue.
Well, it also doesn't help that Tank Dell and Stephon Diggs were both hurt. So that
Their offense was
Agreed.
depleted.
But their offensive line is so inconsistent. And they need to be better.
And C.J. Stroud, he's not normally known for his running ability, but showed off in this game. Hey, if you're going to give it to me, I'm going to take it. And how many yards did he ended up with? I know he ran a way more than he normally does.
Yeah, no, he was scrambling. Yeah, but if he didn't, he'd be dead.
40 yards.
42, yeah.
40 yards. Yeah, he's normally a pocket guy. So him taking off that way opened things up too. I just think the offense being a little banged up hurt them, man. Right now the Chiefs are fully healthy, looking to rock and roll.
And you got to see playoff Kelsey.
Yeah, yes, you did.
I mean, that man, like we talked, right? Like we were talking.
They were saving him all year,
last
bro.
week or 2 weeks ago about how like Kansas City. I think you said it, Joey. I think it was last week how like Kansas City got just kind of plugged along all year. They didn't impress anybody. They didn't do anything that made you say, "Yeah, you are the best team in the league," even if you have the best record. But like they just seem to turn it up a notch when the playoffs get here. And was Houston the best competition they could have had? Probably not. But, I mean, you saw Kelsey. I mean, Kelsey went off. Like, Kelsey had a great game.
Yes,
he went
he
over
did.
100 yards. He had the touchdown, which was a hell of a touchdown throw. You can't rig that for anything. Mahomes basically going down, belly flopping on the ground, finding Kelsey in the end zone. Like, that's impressive. That's why people are big fans of Mahomes. Because not many quarterbacks can make that play. Not many tight ends can find that open spot in the zone. Yeah, the Chiefs are going to be a problem. And look, if I'm honest, I'm rooting for a Bills Commanders Super Bowl. That I will say.
Oh wow, that would be something. I don't think we can really go wrong with the Super Bowl this year. I'm not gonna lie.
Yes, we can. Anything that involves the Eagles is wrong. Sorry.
So says you, but I mean they are a really good team. You can't dismiss that. They are a good team.
They have a great offensive line and a great running back.
Okay.
Their quarterback.
No, they have really good receivers. AJ Brown,
And they don't have a guy
Devontae
that can get
Smith,
him the
Dallas
damn ball.
I'm
Goddard.
not arguing with you on that. I'm just saying though, overall as a team, they're
Yes,
really
they have
good.
a really good defense. They can run.
Everything is really good.
They win the line of scrimmage. It
And that's
boils down.
huge. And
That's
that
all it
is
boils
so
down.
huge.
To. That's all it boils down. To.
So-
I just hate the Eagles. So I sound.
You
bitter,
could
and I'm
hate the
sorry.
Eagles, and we'll get to
You're
that.
fine.
Well, let's go to that game then right now. The Eagles game. Like you could hate them, but they just win, and you can hate Jalen Hurts, but the kid's just a winner. Like,
And the
kid
G-Man,
wins. Like
G-Man can hate on Saquon all that he wants, but he's shelling out.
I
in
can't.
Philly.
I've had this discussion with pretty much every Giant fan I've come across, and they all feel the same way. I've yet to tell anybody to tell me differently. You can't be mad at Saquon. Everybody I know that's a Yankee or I'm sorry, a Giant fan is still cheering on Saquon. Still wants to see Saquon do well. I want to see him do. I have zero ill will. The guy was nothing but great on the field and off the field. I get he had injury issues, but it happens. And guess what? He had a healthy year, and you see what he could do when he's healthy. You see what you could do when you have a good offensive line in front of him that helps keep him healthy.
Absolutely.
So, I mean, he did everything right on the field. He did everything right off the field. The Giants never even offered him a contract.
Which is
I can't
disgraceful.
be mad at this guy for leaving. You didn't have a contract with the Giants, so where else were you going to go? You
Most
had to go
money.
somewhere. He went to the Eagles. I don't blame him, but like I told you guys before the season, this was a big move for the Eagles. This is a big upgrade from a Swift or whoever they had the last
absolutely.
couple of years. They're not.
He's
they're
a stud. He's a stud back.
a stud, and now you give him a two-headed monster, much like the Ravens had with Lamar and Henry, and we'll get into that in a
Lamar's
minute.
a way better quarterback than Hurts, but he
Yes.
ain't showing up in the playoffs, unfortunately.
Exactly. You're not getting playoff Lamar. It's a different Lamar in the regular season. But Hurts is still winning games. He's still finding ways to win. The guy's a winner. I actually think
What
that
did he do to find a way to win? He
It was
handed the
Saquon,
ball
yo.
to
That's
Saquon
it.
Barkley.
He got
so
hurt.
he
He
didn't
got
find
hurt.
a way to win. He gave the ball
No,
to the
that
guy
is-
that found a way to win. His offensive line and his running back.
The
his
quarterback-
defense that
Saquon
forced
is
Is
it
two
not the
turnovers
quarterback's job
found
to
a way
get the
to
ball
win.
to his best offensive player? Is it not
Oh
the quarterback's
my
job
God.
to get the ball to his best offense? That is
All
his
he
job.
did was turn around.
All he did
I
was
could
his
do that job.
All he did was his job.
Every person sitting in this room could do that job.
No, I'd get
Yes,
killed.
I could
would
turn
get
around
killed.
and hand the ball to Saquon freaking Barkley.
No, you couldn't.
Yes, I could.
No, you couldn't.
Yes, I could.
I'm gonna-
With no doubt in my head, could I do that? He averaged 6 yards a pass. 6 yards. He had a 49.5 QBR. He did literally nothing but get a 144-yard run and then hand the ball to Saquon, who averaged 8 yards a carry. He literally did nothing.
He got hurt. He did get hurt in the game.
He did what the Ravens didn't do. And the reason
Yes.
the Ravens are
And
going
whose
home
fault is that? The Lamar or the offensive coordinator? You call plays to put
Lamar
the
can
ball
audible
in
out
your
of
right
stuff.
guy.
Lamar can audible out and say, "Hey, listen, we're going to hand it off here. We're going to do other stuff." He's
If your
got the
offensive
ability.
coordinator calls 2 passing plays for you to choose from, you're choosing one of the 2 passing
You're calling
plays.
timeout and telling him he's stupid.
No, you're
what you
not.
should
That's
be
not
doing.
your job.
Your job is to get the ball to the best players. That's
my
your
God.
job. And that's what Hurts did. What Hurts did is
When
he threw the
Jalen
ball.
Hurts carries a team to a Super Bowl
He
or an
threw-
NFC championship, I will give him his dues. Until then, I will never agree with that.
I'm sorry, 75% passing, 15 of 20. But what he did right is there was only 20
15
passes.
to 20, his longest pass went 7 yards.
What do you mean? That's
A.J.
average.
Brown ran a slant route that he caught 7 yards from the line of scrimmage, and he went,
That's average. The long was 31.
yeah, after they caught the ball and ran. He didn't just throw a deep ball and drop it in the bucket like you want a quarterback to do. He is a running back playing quarterback.
And he's winning.
because he
And
has
they
a
were 14
team
and
around
3 on the
him.
year.
You could take half the quarterbacks in the league and put them on the Eagles, and they will win 13
No,
to 14
they
games.
won't.
Yes, they will.
No, they won't.
Yes, they will.
You're out of your mind. What they did is they played smart football. They ran the ball way more than they passed the ball. Why? Because they know they're a much better running team.
Okay.
And that's
And
what they
the snow.
did.
It was
Okay.
You
bad
don't
weather,
have to have a
bad weather.
quarterback that throws it 50 times a
Okay.
game and
If
puts
I
it in a
put
perfect
Matthew
spot in
Stafford
order to
on
win.
this team, he's winning 14
No,
games.
he's not.
Yes,
because
he is.
He can't do what his legs with Jalen
He
Hurts
doesn't
can.
need to because he can throw the damn ball.
The thing that makes this offense deadly is the fact that they have a two-headed monster in the backfield. A one-headed monster in the backfield puts Saquon where he was with the Giants.
No.
Yes.
An offensive
Yes.
line like the Giants put Saquon like he was with the Giants.
No.
Saquon behind a good offensive line is going to
Bullshit,
do
and I'm
this
calling
on any
bullshit because
team.
I'm calling you out again. You said that the Eagles' offensive line was going to be worse this year after
Because they
losing
lost
Jason
Kelsey. I've
And
lived
they've
with
been
that.
better.
That's okay.
But they're better.
They're not better. They have a better running back.
So they're so their
They're
offensive
just
line
as
isn't
good.
as good as last year, but their running back is better. So they've had a better
They're
running.
just as good. I literally just said that. Their offensive line ended up being just as good. Was I wrong 6 months ago? Yes,
You're
I
still
was
wrong now.
But Jalen Hurts is not a good quarterback.
He is.
No, he is not.
I'm
I
sorry.
understand you love him.
I would
'cause
take him on my
Roll Tide,
team.
all that
No,
bullshit.
he left Alabama,
He's
went to
not
Oklahoma.
a good quarterback.
He is. He is.
Show me a year where he's one of the best quarterbacks in the league. Show me 1 year where
Just
he's over
because-
4,000 yards passing and over 30 passing touchdowns with less than 10 interceptions.
I'll look
Show
it
me
up.
a
I'll
year
look it
where he is in the MVP category because of his ability to throw the ball.
But again,
you are
Lamar's-
a quarterback.
Lamar
Your
is-
job is to throw
You're
the ball.
describing Lamar though. Lamar is
Lamar
in the.
Jackson, 4,200
He's
passing
an
yards, over
MVP.
40
Why?
touchdowns,
No,
less
he's
than
an
5
MVP
interceptions.
because of his legs. He's an MVP
Oh
because of
my
his
God,
legs.
he had one of the best passing years in NFL history.
You're full of shit. No, he didn't.
Yes, he did.
Yes, he did.
He had a
No
good passing
quarterback
year.
in NFL history
he
has a
threw
better than
40
8 to
touchdowns
1
and 4
passing
picks.
to
40
touchdown
touchdowns
to
and 4
interception
picks, bro.
ratio. No quarterback in NFL history
And where to
has
get
ever
him
done
to?
that.
And where to get him to? Because the Eagles are moving on to the Conference
Yes,
Championship.
because they gave the ball to who? Their best player.
That's what I'm saying.
And who
That's
is
what a
not
quarterback
Jalen
does.
Hurts.
But that's what a quarterback
If
does.
they gave the ball to Derrick Henry the way they should have, they
Why-
would have probably won that
But
game.
why
the
does
ball
Jalen
with
need
no
to throw
problem.
it 50 times? Why does Jalen need to throw it 50 times
He
if
doesn't.
they win other ways?
He doesn't. But don't tell me he's the reason they're winning when they can't put the game on his shoulders.
No, but he's not a shitty quarterback. Like
yes, he is.
No, he's not.
You can't put the game on his shoulders as a quarterback.
If you went through the list of quarterbacks,
him to win.
He's a top 10 quarterback.
No, he's not. Not even close.
In 2022, he was an MVP candidate. He was an All-Pro. He wasn't first All-Pro. He was second All-Pro in 2022.
And what was his stats?
He had 3,700 passing yards.
Couldn't break 4,000.
22 touchdowns.
Couldn't break 30.
6 picks.
You're describing everything a Bears quarterback has never done in the history
Basically
of the franchise.
4-1,
and you think that this is like, oh my God, because he didn't do that in a year, he's not a good quarterback.
No, my point is the fact that you can't put the game on his shoulders and have him win the game
can.
throwing the ball.
Yes, you can.
No, you can't, because they never had to and they never will. That's why they put what they put around him, because he can't do it.
He can do it.
Until he can do it, until he shows me
he doesn't have to show you.
Exactly, because he is surrounded by a whole bunch of great players.
Isn't that why you
give A.J. Brown a 7-yard slant, he can take it to the house. You give it to Devontae Smith, a 7-yard slant, he can take it to the house. Goddard literally stiff-armed a guy basically into freaking retirement last week on a 5-yard drag route.
Yeah.
He does a screen pass to
Saquon,
he takes it to the house.
Who got all those people the ball? He's 75% of the passes. 75%. He's doing something right.
You want to suck his you-know-what
right.
because you used to play for Alabama. You, by all means, go ahead.
I don't. But
this team is where they're at because of their offensive
line. Hold on, wait. You just said if you put Stafford
Barkley
on this team, they'd be a better team.
Yes.
Stafford just lost to this team.
And you're going to tell me the Rams have a roster that comes close to what the Eagles have? Comes even close. They haven't had a first-round pick in 4 years.
Kyron Williams.
They haven't had a first-round pick in 4 years.
I'm just saying, don't tell me they don't have talent. They got talent. Plenty of offensive talent.
So A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith or Cooper Kupp and Puka Nacua? Who are you taking? Exactly.
I don't know, honestly.
You taking Goddard or you taking freaking, what the hell's their tight end? Tyler Higbee. Who are you taking? You taking their offensive line or the Rams' offensive line? You taking their pass rushers or the Rams' pass rushers? You taking the secondary with Philly or you taking the Rams' secondary? So you would literally take that Eagles roster top to bottom across the board.
Hold on, wait. Top to bottom means including Hurts over Stafford.
Yeah, you would take that. The only change I would make on the Eagles is if you put Stafford on that Philly roster, he's winning 14 games, and he's going to get them just as far, if not farther.
You're out of your mind. They're a different team. They're a different team.
If you put Stafford on Philly, every defense has to play 2 deep safety. If you put Stafford on Philly,
they're the Giants.
No. If you put Stafford on Philly, every defense has to play 2 deep safety because Stafford can pick them apart in single high. Jalen Hurts faces single high all the time because nobody is scared of him beating them as a quarterback.
No. Okay,
because they got to put the guys in the box because
but nobody's scared of Stafford. And the problem is if you put Stafford on this team, they're going to put 8 in the box to stop Barkley. So you're not going to have
Stafford
a running game.
will pick them apart with that receiving core and that offensive line.
You make him seem like he's an all-time great.
Who did Stafford go win a Super Bowl?
1.
How many Hurts did win? 1. Get off his dick.
How much younger is Hurts?
0.
How much younger is Hurts? 10 years younger? So, again, give him 10 more years. He could win one this year.
Because of the team he has. If you put Stafford on there, he's winning more Super Bowls.
You're out of your mind.
You are insane. You need to stop sucking his dick.
No.
You really do.
Deep breath, you guys.
You gotta stop it.
Get some help.
No, you are.
Just because you have the button to hit doesn't make you right.
No. I'm sorry.
Deep breath.
If you're trying to tell me he's not a top 10 quarterback, and that to me, I'm not telling you he's the number 1 quarterback in the league, but to tell me he's straight garbage is outrageous.
I'm not saying he's straight garbage. I am saying he's a running back playing quarterback.
Regardless, he's playing quarterback, and as a quarterback, he is still a top 10 quarterback.
No.
Yes.
No.
Absolutely.
No way. I'll give you maybe 11 or 12, but that's it.
Oh, come on.
But I'm not.
You're playing semantics there.
He's a running back playing quarterback. He's not a good quarterback. You cannot put the ball in his hands and rely on him to win the game.
Has he had nothing but winning records since he's been with the Eagles? Has he had nothing but pre-Saquon, pre-anything? Has he not won division titles? Has he not won, like, you make it seem like this team exploded all because of Barkley. Now I know their offense got better because of
they
Barkley.
are where they are
but you
this
can't tell
year
me
because of Barkley.
You can't tell me he's a bad.
Last
he's
year
a
they
bad
lost
QB.
7 out of their last 8 games because he couldn't win a damn game.
AJ Brown, pre Devontae Smith, he was still a winning quarterback.
Who the hell? When? Who was he winning with?
I'm just saying, if we can pull it up, I'll fight you on this one.
Go for it. He's not a good quarterback. They won a Super Bowl with Nick Foles. They didn't win a Super Bowl with Jalen Hurts.
Right,
they lost in the Super Bowl with Jalen Hurts.
What if we play this game? I'll tell you, we'll say Jalen Hurts, and I'll give you a team name. And you guys say yes or no. Okay, if he's better than that quarterback. And that'll determine if he's a top 10 guy. How about that?
Go for it.
Okay. So, first team that comes up are the Bills. So Josh Allen,
No.
I'm with you on that. Would you say Josh Allen's better than Hurts?
Yeah.
Okay. Tua.
No. I would take Hurts over. Well, on a deep ball, I'd take Tua, but overall, on a guy I would actually trust to make it through a season and play all 17 games, I would take Hurts.
Do you think Tua or Hurts?
Hurts.
Okay.
Right now.
All right, so you're both agreeing on that. We're all taking Hurts over Drake May, right?
Yes.
Okay. We got Hurts over the Jets quarterback, right? We don't know who it is. Rodgers?
Yeah, I don't know who it is. If it's the back half of the season, Rodgers, I'm taking Rodgers. If it's the front half of the season, I'm taking Hurts.
Interesting. So you would take him. Okay. Ravens, Lamar? Yes.
Definitely taking Lamar.
Joe Burrow? Yes.
Definitely taking Burrow.
The Browns, Deshaun Watson?
Oh, God, no. I would
No.
take a brown paper bag over Deshaun Watson.
Russell Wilson or Justin Fields?
I would take Hurts.
CJ Stroud?
CJ Stroud.
Colts, Anthony Richardson?
Anthony Richardson can't stay healthy. Give me Hurts.
Trevor Lawrence?
Trevor Lawrence.
Titans?
No way. You're not taking Trevor Lawrence.
If
over
I
him
put
right
Trevor
now?
Lawrence with this Eagles roster, yes.
You're out of your mind. He's
Trevor
shown you
Lawrence has
nothing.
never
He's
played
shown
with this
you
talent.
Are you kidding me? He went and got his college buddy Travis Etienne. They went out and got Calvin Ridley. They went out. They have plenty of stars out there. He's not very good.
Are you taking
Yeah,
Travis
Calvin
Etienne
Ridley.
over Saquon Barkley? Hell, are you taking Travis Etienne over DeAndre Swift? No.
I'm telling you right now that Jalen Hurts is a better quarterback than Trevor Lawrence. 100%.
I'll take Trevor Lawrence.
All right, so
This
we're
is
at
where,
6.
to be honest, we're not going to agree on this because with things like that,
we've agreed out of 5 out of 6. So fuck it. Don't even count Trevor Lawrence. Don't even count him.
All right, so
So
5.
5.
Bo Nix,
No.
Mahomes,
Yes.
no. Well, yeah, Mahomes is better than him.
Raiders situation,
No.
yeah, Hurts. So Herbert.
Yes.
Wow.
Oh, wait.
I would say Herbert is better than Hurts.
Herbert's isn't better than Hurts. Herbert can't get out of the first round of the playoffs most years. This year he did, or no, this year he didn't do it either.
Again, the concept to me is this. If I put that quarterback with the same exact team that Jalen Hurts has, I would think that quarterback could do just as good or
Okay.
better. And I think Herbert
again,
would do better
So
with
that's
Philly.
just that's
Again,
that's the AFC.
That's just the AFC. We've already got 7 that I
But
would
that's
take.
where
If you want to
most of the good
remove Herbert,
quarterbacks are.
me and you have 6. And we're just in the AFC.
No, because I want to go through those 6 again. So, because again, I was half paying attention to this, half paying attention to what you're saying. So, Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, Patrick Mahomes,
Joe Burrow,
Joe Burrow.
CJ Stroud.
No, I'm not putting Stroud there yet.
Okay.
But yet, see, which in other words tells me if he gets to play a couple more years and continues to win division titles, why wouldn't he be better?
Because if Hurts continues to win division titles, then he's going to be better. Like, so again, it would.
What about-
I'm not going on the future. I'm going off of right
What
now.
about
Right
Dak?
now, he's not better than Stroud.
Dak.
I would take Dak over Hurts. He literally has a winning record against Hurts.
I would take Dak again. I would say that's an even comparison. So I'm on the fence about that one.
Okay.
His first comments, his initial thought was take Dak. Pop that fucking finger up. We're at 6.
No, 5.
No,
I got
we're
5.
at 6.
5.
So he's literally counting them.
No, but then
What was the
I
four
didn't
then?
say. I said Lamar. I said Patrick
Burrow.
Mahomes, Burrow.
Oh, you said no
and
to Stroud.
I said no to Stroud.
So you're at 5.
Okay, we're at 5.
Giant situation, no.
No.
Definitely not.
Jaden Daniels.
Not
I'm
right.
saying
Not
yes.
on 1 year.
Because he has
I need
1
to
year.
see more than 1 year.
I'm
No.
saying
So
yes.
right now it's Hurts.
Not Caleb
Even though
Williams.
Hurts has done nothing that Daniels did in his rookie year. That's besides
Goff. Goff or Hurts.
I'm going Hurts. You
I
just saw
mean,
what Goff did in the big game.
That's the problem. If we go off of this year, I'm going with Hurts. If I'm going with last year, I'm going with Goff. Over the stretch of their career, I'm going with Goff.
All right. Wow. Okay. We got Jordan Love.
I mean, Jordan Love is so inconsistent.
I'm not
give that to
saying
Hurts. Hurts is at least consistent, so I won't take Love over Hurts.
Darnold only did it for a year.
No, I'm not taking
Same thing,
Darnold.
consistency.
Okay. Falcons. So Kirk Cousins.
No, or Penix. Nope. They're not
I
there
can't say
yet.
Penix yet. Bryce Young.
No. I mean, he had a great second half of the year, but no.
Derek Carr.
No.
No, Derek Carr never had a great I think he's had one great year of his
Baker.
whole career. I mean, Baker 2 years in a row has put it together. He could run, he could throw. I'm going to take Baker. I trust him more throwing the ball.
I would still take Hurts, but again, that's another one that I'm real close about.
So you're on the fence with like two. All right, then we just got the NFC West. Kyler.
Definitely not.
No. Stafford.
Yes.
That's a yes for you. I know that.
I'll give it to him because he got the Super Bowl.
And he's a better thrower. Again, your
A
job
thrower, but again,
your job. What is your job as a
Purdy.
quarterback? To throw the
no, your
damn
job's
ball.
to win the damn game, to lead the team to win the damn game. You are the captain of the team. Just like you're the CEO of the team as a coach, you are the captain of the team on the field, regardless of how you need to win, whether it's 50 yards through the year or 50 yards on the
job
ground.
of a quarterback is to throw the damn ball.
No, it's to win.
So between the both of you, you have him in the top 10.
Easily.
You
Like I
have
said,
him, he's like
11,
a top
12.
13, 12, 14 quarterback.
There are quarterbacks, but
there is a
2
difference.
years from
So
now, I
more than
guarantee
half
you,
of the
Jaden
league-
Daniels is better.
So more than half of the league, you would pick, Hurts
Okay,
over.
so
you would
you
pick
want-
over Hurts
Do
over
you want
more
me
than
to
half of the league.
reiterate what I said? He's not a top 10 quarterback. I'd put him 11 and 12, and then I'll repeat what you said. Oh, we're talking semantics. It's literally the concept of sports debate is semantics.
Yeah.
But the
But I'm
bottom
telling
line
you,
is
you're
the
wrong
guy
on
is
this
a
one.
running back playing quarterback. He is not a good quarterback.
Again,
He cannot.
he's a
you
good enough
cannot
quarterback
ask
to
Jalen
win.
Hurts to throw the ball 40 times a game and ask him to win. He won't do it.
All right, so real quick,
The guys I just named can throw it 40 times.
They've
a game
won the
and
division
win
2
the
out of
game.
the last 3 years.
They've won it
They've
2
ran-
out of the last 4. If you want to do it that way, we could do it that way.
No, actually,
Yes, they've won it 2 out of the last 4. There hasn't been a
there's been a
back-to-back
back-to-back division
NFC East
in like
division
20
winner
years.
since Donovan McNabb was quarterback for Philly.
4 straight winning seasons. Again, I'm just telling you, he's not a bad quarterback. So prior to Saquon, it's not like he was bad. So again, I just want you to get your mindset off of him being a shitty quarterback when the guy does nothing but win.
9 wins in 2021, 2022. 2022, 2023, they won the division with what? 10 wins, I think? 2023, 2024, they had 9 wins again.
14 wins.
14 wins.
In
Then you go
2022.
and then you go 23, 24,
11 wins. And then another 14 this year. So
Okay.
again, there's something that they're doing right there in Philly, and it's not just all Saquon Barkley.
No, it's
as much
all-
as I want to give him all the credit, it's not all Saquon.
It is their offense, their ability to win the line of scrimmage.
And they did that with losing their best offensive lineman, a guy who you say is a first ballot Hall of Famer. They lose him, and they still end up with a better offense. Why? Because they upgraded at running back, and they're not again, Jalen Hurts, if he was that bad, he would be costing them games. He's not. He doesn't.
All he did last year was cost them games. The reason they lost 7 of their last 8 games was because of
They
how
didn't
he
lose 7
played.
games last year. They lost 6. We just did it. They were 11-6 last year. They were 11-6
Oh, I'm
last
sorry.
year.
They went 1-5 in their last 6 games because he couldn't stop turning the ball over. They lost because of him.
And
If
yet
you
he's
put
going to have a
the-
chance to go to a
look,
Super Bowl.
I
And yet
think
he's going to
if-
have a chance to go to the Super Bowl.
Yes, he
to bring
was.
us
That
back
is-
on top.
That is great for him. Yet he got smacked by the Giants to end the year and then got walloped in the playoffs. So if we're having this conversation 8 months ago, then I am 100% correct.
No.
If the Rams don't turn over the ball 2 times, they end up winning this game even though they gave up 3 fucking touchdown runs of 40-plus yards. I'm just saying, he didn't force those turnovers. He had nothing to do with that. All he did was Hand the ball to Saquon.
All he did was his job, and he did it very well.
Again, you put Stafford on this roster, they're still winning 14 games.
No, because they're a different offense with Stafford. I don't know what you don't get about that.
Teams can't play the run the way they did. Saquon would have had a better year if he had freaking Stafford.
You are out of your mind. Out of your mind.
I would say the same about you, my friend, and I love you.
No, but there's no way they would load the box, and
Exactly.
there's no
with
threat of
those wide
Stafford running.
receivers, they will win one-on-one all day.
He won't have enough time to get him the ball.
A.J. Brown, and
he wouldn't have
Goddard
enough time to get him the ball.
One-on-one all day.
They would be the Giants 2.0.
Not even close.
Absolutely.
Not even close. The team's way better than the Giants. That offensive line, way better than the Giants. That defensive line, way better than the Giants. They win the line of scrimmage.
But if you went and looked at the Giants' offensive line, it's really not as bad as you're making it out to seem.
Statistically, it's horrible.
No, statistically, it's not.
If it wasn't that bad, then why is Saquon doing so much better here? The offensive line is why Saquon's doing so much better. The threat of talent on the outside is why they're doing so much better.
The threat,
a defense that can get them
the
good
threat
field
of the
possession
two-headed monster is why he has it more open.
They were a two-headed monster. Daniel Jones was a run-first quarterback.
No, he wasn't.
Oh God.
We're gonna have to agree to disagree
what you want
here.
to see, my friend.
He was not a run-first quarterback. He wasn't. I'm sorry. I'm never going to agree with you on that. So, yeah, we'll move on from there. And we're going to go to another game that I don't think we're going to have any controversy over, but other than the fact that they weren't smart enough to do what Jalen Hurts and the Eagles did. And Lamar Jackson wasn't smart enough to go to his coach and say, hey, coach, halftime here. Let's make an adjustment.
I know everybody wants to beat up Mark Andrews, but Lamar Jackson cost them this game. Those two turnovers. The interception was a stupid throw.
Putting the ball
But
down.
why are you throwing the ball 25 times and only giving it to Derrick Henry 6? The difference in these two games is they gave 26 carries to Barkley and only, 16 to Henry. There's a reason that Saquon had 205 yards. He was able to wear down the defense. He was able to finally break free. Got that 40-yard run early, but then continued to just lean on him and hammer him. Why? The Ravens did that last week. Henry ran like a monster last week. Yeah, why would you take the ball out of your best player's hands? So this is what I'm talking about. When it comes to smart play, smart quarterback play, smart play would be our best offense is when we run the ball. It was shitty weather. It wasn't like it was great weather up in Buffalo, 75 and sunny. This is a ground and pound game. Why would you not give it to Derrick Henry and ground and pound? Why? If you're going to tell me Lamar's a better quarterback, put it up through the air, this, that, and the other. Every time they put it up, every time he throws the ball, they find ways to lose. They don't win by throwing. Lamar never wins by throwing. To go to your point, if they throw the ball, they lose. That's what they do. The Eagles know that. If they throw the ball, Hurts, like you're saying. Oh, if he turns into... You don't have to worry about that. The smart move, turn around, hand it off to your best player. They didn't give it to their best player. I'm just saying what you're saying.
I know, but you blatantly just said that you need to get the ball out of the quarterback's hand and not let him throw it because he's going to cost you the game. Which basically goes against half of what you just said. But me and you just dominated the last 25 minutes.
But I'm just saying, but with Baltimore, though,
Joey,
real quick.
You're good.
But wait,
you're good.
Really quick. I think, Joey, the way I need to ask you is this. When you look at that Bills-Ravens game, okay, and you see how Buffalo executed their offense, where when they needed a couple yards, it was straight up snap it to Josh Allen
get the
and he's running the ball.
Bro. Yeah.
The Ravens could have literally did the same thing. So,
Now,
how much of this game, like, if you're placing blame and you're going to rank this between offensive coordinator Lamar Jackson and Mark Andrews, what order are you going to put that blame in?
I'm putting it on Lamar, to be honest. It's a team game overall. But I'm putting it on Lamar. Those two turnovers were so costly. Putting the ball down was just so dumb, man. It really was. And you're saying, why don't you give the ball to Derrick Henry more? You're down. You can't.
You can. You stick to what you know. You stick to your game plan.
You're down against a high-powered offense.
If you're down in the first half, it doesn't matter. You don't have to automatically go up.
It kills you. And then in the second half, they heard you. And they said, maybe we should give it to freaking Derrick Henry. And then they decided to run the ball. But it was a little too late, in my opinion. But, yeah, man, big drops by Andrews. Really screwed them over. I didn't like the 2-point call when earlier in the game when they were down 21-19. I didn't think you needed to do it in the third quarter. I think teams just do it a little too much, in my opinion. But
analytics.
When you got Lamar and Derrick Henry, though, it kind of makes sense. It really does. You should actually do it maybe every single time instead of taking the one. However, it didn't work out, and you put yourself behind on points, and you're trying to chase points.
Remember that year with Tomlin and Roethlisberger where they just decided that they were going for 2-point conversions after every touchdown?
Yeah.
They, like, spent the first half of the season. They're like, this is our strategy moving forward. And they were, like, below 500, and they're like, all right, we'll kick extra points now.
The one thing we'll agree on, Dave, here, is when you talk about Jalen Hurts being a run-first quarterback, well, the other two teams we just talked about are run-first quarterbacks, Lamar and Josh Allen. When big spot, need a couple yards, Josh Allen's getting the ball. You want to tell me Hurts is the worst one of those three? I'll agree with you. You want to tell me Hurts is the...
I would leave right now if you wouldn't agree with that.
I'll tell you right now, if you wanted to tell me he was the worst of all the running quarterbacks out there, we could have a discussion about it. Maybe, I'd have to look at all the other running quarterbacks out there to find out. We could have a discussion about that. I think we could agree on that. But as far as him not being top 10, I'm still going to argue. Either way, though, going back to this Ravens game, thing that bothered me, though, is you've seen this happen with the Ravens year after year in the playoffs. Year after year, Lamar gets in. They have hopes. Lamar throws way too much. And then they... Is it, though? Because he's getting older now. He's getting...
He's only 28 years old.
Peyton didn't break through till he was in his 30s.
Did you see the stat comparison? Was it you that sent that text?
I sent that to you.
Literally career-wise,
him
Lamar
and Peyton
are like neck and neck across the board.
And
passer rating, playoff, win-loss
They're both
records.
3-5 in their careers through 28.
And Peyton won his first Super Bowl at 31.
I think it was.
Took him a long time to get past Brady.
I mean, he had to deal with Tom Brady. Lamar Jackson has to deal with
Big
Josh
Ben,
Allen.
Phillip Rivers, and Peyton Manning.
Phillip Rivers won nothing.
No, you're not wrong, but he made it to the AFC Championships a whole bunch of times, and they made it to the playoffs a whole bunch of times. So those were the four big quarterbacks. Now you got a new AFC. Mahomes, Allen, Jackson, and maybe it's Stroud. Maybe it's maybe it's going to be Trevor Lawrence with a new coach. I have no idea.
More than likely, Burrow is probably in that conversation.
I apologize. There you go.
I mean, Burrow's the only one that beat Patrick Mahomes in the playoffs.
But
him and Brady are
you got all these powerhouse quarterbacks again in the AFC. So it might only he might only win one because of the domination of quarterbacks in the AFC.
You know what I hate? You made me defend the Eagles.
That's on you, man. You chose to love Jalen Hurts when I don't see a reason for it, but I'm not going down that rabbit hole.
Fuck the Eagles.
Yeah, that, my friend, we can agree on.
I don't want to defend them because, by the way, I'm not even rooting for them this weekend. Screw the Eagles. I like Barkley. I have a soft spot for him in my heart. There's no chance in hell going into this championship weekend.
I want Washington Buffalo.
I want Washington, to be honest.
A rematch of the 91 Super Bowl.
Oh, there you go.
Which is kind of cool. Buffalo, and then you get to root for Buffalo, who's never won a Super Bowl.
But do I want to root for Buffalo, though? I really don't. I'll be honest with you. As much as people want to get off the T-Swift train, the hype train, the KC train, I'm going to ride it. I want to see a three-peat. We've never seen a three-peat.
That's where I get
I want to see it. When else are we going to have a chance to see it? Andy Reid's not getting any younger. You know what I mean? He's one of the greatest coaches of all time. If he wants to cement himself with the names of the Bill Belichick's and the Bill Parcellses...
Oh, he's already up there, dude.
No, I know he's up there, but if he wants to really be on the Mount Rushmore, this is what you do. You win three in a row, he's on the Mount Rushmore.
A three-peat gives him the opportunity to actually knock one of those names off of Mount Rushmore to make room for himself. All I want to say, though, is
as you guys know, I'm kind of a closet Swiftie fan. So... I'm just going to say...
T-Swizzle makes some good music. I ain't going to hate on her for it.
You can't.
She makes some good music. I'm not a big fan of her whole catalog, but she's got some good songs, and you gotta give it to her.
She's hanging out with our girl, Caitlin Clark.
22. Ooh.
See, I don't even know that song.
Caitlin's Clark number? Too?
I have no idea, to be honest with you.
So
Look it up. I think she's number 22.
Really quick, the one thing I want to say about this Bills-Ravens game, and that makes it so frustrating if you're a Ravens fan, is each drive that they turned the ball over, they were driving. Like, you're not talking about like a 3-and-out and a punt. Like, they were moving the ball. Like, the Ravens easily could have won this game by 2 scores.
She is 22.
Like, I genuinely think the Ravens could have won this game by 2 scores. But they got away from what their identity is, and that is running the ball. And I think that's one of the scarier parts of having a running quarterback is the potential for the injury. Like you saw late in the Eagles-Rams game, right? Jalen Hurts got tackled real awkwardly, and he had to run several plays where he had to be in the pistol formation because he couldn't even take a snap from under center to do a very simple handoff. And then, yes, once his leg loosened up a little bit, they started doing some play action, some rollouts, got him moving a little bit, but they couldn't execute their entire playbook, including the read option, which is something that makes them as good as they are. That hurt, right? And like that, I think that's one of the biggest issues the Ravens have is that they know a single play can ruin every one of their goals. So they get away from what makes them them. And that is the read option with him and Henry, which is why they brought Henry in, because they never had a running back to pair with him like that. And you put yourself in a position where you're moving the ball, and as you move the ball, you're like, oh, we can play this 10-yard pass. We can play this 13-yard pass. We can play this, bubble screen that went for 11. We did this. We're getting first downs. We're gaining momentum. Let's keep going. And then all of a sudden, your offensive line blows a block. And he gets sacked and he fumbles the ball and turns it over. Or he gets cocky and he throws a pass. Instead of towards the sideline, he throws it more inside the field. Easy interception for the defense. And now your team's pressing because they're trailing. So you hit Mark Andrews on a wide open crossing route. And instead of turning his shoulders, facing the end zone and running a straight line to the end zone where he would have gained more yards than even if he broke the tackles he thought he might be able to break, he gets the ball punched out, another fumble, and you just all of a sudden it just steamrolled on them. And they were moving the ball with no problem.
Zay Flowers definitely hurts them too, man. That's their number one receiver.
Still, but you're a run first offense, and your best player touched the ball 16 times. I'm sorry, he needed 25 plus.
Though. He had a huge drop.
He's not, to be honest, he's not much of a receiver out of the backfield.
That's why he was so open on the time he dropped the ball.
But
that was a huge
You've got to
man.
hit him. He's got to be fed 25 times a game to get the most out of him.
20's your floor. Like there's no ifs saying like him leaving a game with him not touching the ball 20 times is a failure on the offensive coordinator. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. But Josh Allen, Buffalo came out. They played tough as hell. Like the first half, they looked like they just wanted it more. Even Amanda was sitting there watching the game with me, and she's like, "Dave, they literally look like Buffalo's making Baltimore look like they don't care to be here, while Buffalo is flying all over the place."
Did you guys see the one Buffalo lineman who had the jacket underneath his jersey?
No. It was cold, man. It was cold. Man. We know what that feeling was like the last 2 days here in Jersey, but. Look, I don't know about you guys, but after our battle with the Eagles and Jalen Hurts, like I think we should be picking some games for our conference championship.
And
all I gotta say, and I've been saying this since Sunday, you want to talk about the icing on what was the shit cake of the 2024-2025 NFL season for a Cowboys fan? Is we have to watch 2 division rivals play in the NFC Championship game for the right to go to the Super Bowl. Like, this year has been such a struggle as a Cowboys fan. Injuries early in the year, losing record, getting blown out by the Saints and the Ravens, injury to Dak. You just watch the year just kind of slowly steamroll downhill. Then they start winning enough games that they're not going to get a top 10 draft pick. But then they lose out. They lose to the Commanders on a last-second touchdown by Mariota. Not even Jaden Daniels threw the damn thing. Mariota threw the damn thing. But they lose on that. And now, to just cap off what has literally been maybe the only season in my life that I have genuinely debated on whether I can remain a Cowboys fan or if I'm just going to be a football fan and my fantasy team fan. Literally, the first time in my life. This year got me.
Not the Quincy Carter years.
No, because you knew you were going to suck. We came off our third 12-win season. Our owner said after getting knocked out in the divisional round, I'm all in.
Yeah.
And he bargain shops free agency. He takes a long shot on a right tackle to move him to left tackle. All this crap goes on. You wait till the 12th hour to sign your two best players. All this crap. I mean, you guys remember during the offseason, the thing that pissed me off the most about the offseason, you didn't sign Dak, you didn't sign CD, and you didn't sign
nobody.
Didn't sign
Parsons, right?
Parsons. That's what made me mad. Free agency, live with that, but you got to keep your in-house guys. Got to keep them. Drove me freaking nuts. They signed 2 to 3. All right, 5th-year option on Parsons. Like, cool, I'll be all right. Then we start the season with a win on the road against the Browns, which in the moment I thought was a big win. You realize how bad the Browns are. I didn't know that in the moment. It's
None of us knew that in the moment.
But holy crap, they were so bad. So that win meant absolutely nothing. Then you get shellacked by the Saints, who, what ended up happening? Oh, right. They ended up being a shit team. You get shellacked by the Ravens. Okay, saw that possibly coming. Start with the losing record. Then you're at the point where you lose Dak in a playoff game. His freaking hamstring tears off the bone. You're like, season's done. Now, hey, let's start winning some freaking football games. And cost ourselves the opportunity to have a top 10 draft pick. And
Are you really going to sit here and complain about losing a few spots when the Giants literally in the last 2 weeks lost the number 1 spot?
My friend, your team was supposed to suck this year. So
yeah,
yes.
we were supposed to get the number 1 spot until they decided to play hard against the Colts.
Yes, I'm going to complain about this.
Was it the Colts? Yeah,
and then to end the year, to have to watch this game. I was so pissed Sunday. Amanda looked at me. She's like, well, why are you going to watch the game? I'm like, because I have 3 NFL games left for the rest of this until September that matter. I have to watch the game. Are you right? I shouldn't watch the game? Yeah, you're right. I shouldn't watch the game. But I'm going to watch the game. And I'm going to get angry and I'm going to get frustrated because no matter who the hell wins, the Cowboys can't even win one playoff game in a season. So that's where I stand. I'm taking the Commanders getting the 6 points, but I'm taking the Eagles outright, and I'm taking the over. I'm done with this pick. I don't want to talk anything NFC East until next week. I'm shutting up.
I'm going similar. I would take the Commanders getting the 6. I think 6 is a big number for a divisional game, especially with the way they've been playing. So I would take the Commanders getting the 6. I hate to say it, I would probably take the Eagles outright, although I am rooting for the Commanders. My heart is rooting for the Commanders. But my head does tell me, the smart money would be on the Eagles. So I would take the Commanders getting the 6, the Eagles on the money line. And I'm actually going under the 47.5. I think in a divisional game, especially one where Barkley, we know, is probably going to get fed a lot. They're going to run the ball, try to control the clock. I could see the under. A lot of the playoff games have been under as well. So I'm going to go under here. But give me Commanders plus 6, the under, and but I would take the Eagles outright.
Nice.
What do you got, Joey?
Well, I was on the Detroit bandwagon for a long time.
I was too. You know what? That's what really pissed me off, is because I wanted the Lions to win. Because at least I would root for the Lions.
Yeah, and like actually enjoy this game and be a freaking Lions fan for 3 hours. I'm 100% with you.
Yes.
But then, toward later in the season, once they got all those injuries, I got off the bandwagon. I don't think I said it on the air here or to you guys. I think I was telling people at the pizzeria I work at.
It don't count. It's not recorded. It's not
on
podcasted.
the Eagles bandwagon, unfortunately.
It's not podcasted.
Going into the Super Bowl. I do agree with you guys, though. I think 6 is a little heavy. So I will take the Commanders because Jaden Daniels, he's been playing amazing, man. He really has been. Dan Quinn has been going for it so many times on 4th down, and Jaden Daniels in this offense just continue to accept the challenge. And
I think it's like 86% conversion
something,
rate on
dude.
4th down and over 20 attempts too. Like it's one thing when you're 2 of 3, right? Like,
yeah,
all right, good for you. But when you're like 18 of 20, that's
really
nuts.
Incredible. So I think the Commanders give him a hell of a game, but I think Saquon and the offense is a little too much for them. So I will take the Eagles to win, and If I had a weather report, there you go, 39 degrees it says. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think there's any
So
bad
give me
weather.
give me the over then if it's going to be 39 degrees. I'll take the over. But give me the Commanders +6.
All right.
All right, so me and you are on the, but right, like money line, you would just take the Eagles.
I would take the Eagles to win, yes.
Yeah, like straight up. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So
And then we go to the, what is it, 5:30 or 6:30? 6:30.
Man, 41. His vision's going, bro. I can't.
My vision went like 2 years
No wonder
ago.
why I think Jalen Hurts is a good quarterback. I'm sorry.
Still top 10.
No, I'm not
Top
trying-
10.
no,
might be
we're-
the bottom of the top 10.
We're
but
not
he's in the
lighting
top
that.
10.
We're not lighting that candle again. We're moving on. I'm sorry.
It's all right. It's all right. But moving on, I think that's what the Chiefs do here. I think that the Bills, this is like their Achilles heel. They can't get, they just can't get over this hump. They can't. There's something that happens to Josh Allen.
The one team the Chiefs wanted to avoid was the Bengals.
That's it. And they
That-
did by losing the last week of the
said,
season.
Hey, Denver division rival, you feel free to come join this tournament. You're not getting past the first round anyway.
And I know how bad
we don't
Allen,
want to see that since.
and we know how bad Allen wants this. Like Josh Allen wants this in the worst way. This is the one he could beat him in the. He did. He beat them in the regular season.
Yes,
He gave them their first loss of the year.
First loss of the year. One of the reasons they're not going in undefeated.
I would
probably
say
the
their
reason.
only loss on the year.
That's the
Oh,
real
yeah.
reason they're not going in undefeated because they would have played the last week and they would have been going into the
Oh yeah,
playoffs.
if they were 16-0 going against Denver, they would have played.
That said, I think the Chiefs left a little on the table that game because they knew they would probably be facing them again in the playoffs, and you can't show all your cards at once. So I gotta think the Chiefs at home because if I'm not mistaken, when the Bills beat them, it was in Buffalo as well. I think it was
I don't
at the
know.
road.
No, it
I
wasn't
think it was in-
Buffalo.
okay.
No, it wasn't.
It
Buffalo.
was. So with the Chiefs here, I think the Chiefs, I think they're on a destiny run. I think it's weird to say, but I as much as you want to go back to that 91 Super Bowl, the Commanders and the Bills, I got a real feeling we're going to see the Eagles and the Chiefs. And I actually think the Chiefs -2, it's practically a pick 'em line. It's not real big. So I'm going to take the Chiefs given 2 at home. I'm going to take the under of 47.5 because, again, most of these games have all been under. So I'm going to go under here. 32 degrees, going to be a cold day. And I think it's going to be a close game. So give me the Chiefs. Give me the under. Give me the Chiefs outright. I think we're looking at an Eagles-Chiefs Super Bowl.
And
That's my pick.
and that's 32 degrees of kickoff in Kansas City. So you're talking it's probably going to be in the mid to low 20s by the time you're at halftime. Joey, go ahead, man. I want second on the first one. Why don't you take second on this one?
Sure. I believe this is the 4th time, actually, maybe 5th time that the Chiefs and Bills have faced each other already in the playoffs, which is incredible. I'm kind of thinking the Chiefs are on a destiny run as well. I hate to say that because I really will. ABC, bro. Anybody but the Chiefs. But I just see this magical run going to the Super Bowl. I really do. I'm just going to think Andy Reid is a better coach than McDermott. That's the only reason behind this. The Kansas City is really healthy right now, too. With the addition of Hollywood Brown adds another element they didn't have all year, really. Xavier Worthy is more like a gadget player. He doesn't really take the top off the defenses all that well, but
Definitely
Hollywood,
not how they thought he was going to
Correct.
in his rookie year.
At least in his rookie
you
year.
definitely expected more out of him his rookie year.
But with Hollywood there, it gives them an extra dimension that they didn't have. I think this is a team of destiny, unfortunately. Kelsey's looking great. He's looking like a time machine, hopped in a time machine, and he's back to his old self, kind of like Gronk would do when it was time to get it ready for the playoffs. Him and Brady always would connect. Mahomes and Kelsey always connect. So I will take Kansas City -2, and I'll take the over as well in this game. I'm thinking more like give me Kansas City 30 and give me the Bills 23. I'll say 30-23. Dave.
Give me the Bills and the over.
Bills in the over.
Give me the Bills getting the 2 and the over. I think it's time for Buffalo to break through that ceiling.
I want to break free.
But all I'll also say is that if the Bills
want
lose,
to
I will
break free.
not be surprised at all. Like, I don't want to watch the Eagles win, and I don't want to watch the Chiefs for a third time. in a row, 4th time in 5 years.
Oh, that's right.
And then
This is three
this
out of
isn't
four.
the first time they faced the Eagles either.
No, I don't want to watch that match again at all. Even though, like, because
To be honest, none of them are fun matchups, other than the one you mentioned, where the Commanders-Bills throwback. That's the only matchup that like has really the intrigue, other than if KC goes in and they're looking for the 3-peat.
Sure.
and also having 2 good running quarterbacks that also know how to throw the ball.
Very good, very good. I'll be working, so don't matter what Super Bowl combo it is for me.
I don't know, Eric. I'm tired, man. I'm just being stupid.
No, you're good, but listen, I'm just saying, you know.
No, don't get back on a rant. No, don't do it.
Try
Don't do
not
it.
to.
It's my fault. If he should be allowed to say one thing because I've thrown 2 things in.
No, it's okay.
And he
Don't
let the
do
first
it.
It's okay
one slide.
because, to be honest with you, most of our audience out there, anybody listening, probably going to agree with you on this. But I just don't see it. And again, maybe I got that bias to me, but he just wins. And to be honest, I want a winner. To be honest, I like that's the one underrated stat I think everybody doesn't look at. They look at speed, they look at arm strength, they look at this. They look at guys who just win.
I mean,
because again, Brady coming out of college looked like dad bod, you know.
Oh my God,
like,
that picture. He looks better 25, 30
years ago. Later. But nobody coming out of college thought he had great arm strength, this, that, or the other. But the guy won. And he won in Michigan. He found a way to come there and found ways to win and just became a winner. And then, you know what?
He beat you with his arm.
But was never
Tim Tebow.
never the most athletic guy.
he
Never
beat
the
you
most anything else. You know, but he just won. Tim Tebow, another guy, found ways to win. Vince Young, another guy. If you look at it, people will say that he has a winning pro record. And, like, not just by a little, by like a decent margin. Like, he was a lot better than people thought, but he was a head case, and I guess a lot difficult to deal with, and
He'd be
whatever
better
else.
in
Like,
today's NFL than back then.
probably, but I still remember that national championship game, and
he'd be amazing with that Eagles roster.
that's where I guess I'll end it, is the national championship game, because bringing it to
That USC Texas game was one of the best games I ever watched.
it was
in my life.
absolutely,
The
and I
make
wasn't a
that
fan of either team. That was one of the most entertaining
awesome.
football games I
to
ever
make that
watched.
stand on 4th down to stop USC from running down the clock and winning the game, to then that drive and that touchdown run to the pylon. That was one of the most entertaining college football games I've ever
Absolutely.
watched. And since we're mentioning college football,
That's why I had to bring it up. Yeah.
All I gotta say is I really thought after that first drive by Notre Dame, because I was with, like, we were texting in our group chat, right? After that first drive by Notre Dame, I'm like, man, they could make this a game. Like, this could actually go to the 4th quarter. And then 3 drives in a row, Ohio State was like, touchdown, we're going to stop you. Touchdown, we're going to stop you. Touchdown, it's halftime. Give us the ball. We're going to kick a field goal.
Ohio
This
State,
game
though,
is done.
letting up point at the end. I wanted to.
Oh, because of gambling.
Yeah,
right?
because
The
of
betting.
gambling.
Yeah.
I didn't do the 8.5. I did live betting.
And that
I got
Michigan
in too
kicker
late, but
fucking doinking it off the field goal post. YouTube, I am so sorry for the language today. I am just dropping F-bombs left and right. And I apologize to anybody out there listening.
that's what happens when you give him a couple beers.
I had 2 beers before I got here. At this point,
Get 2 beers in him, and he gets so fired up. He starts screaming about Jalen
You know,
Hurts.
it's funny.
He's ready, he gets all-
The whole ride here, I'm like, man, I wonder how I'm going to be on the show tonight. Well, now we know.
You want to top it off with a shot? I got
Oh,
some.
God, no. No,
I got some little chocolate shot
I
bombs
told the
right
man
there.
on my drive here, I'm like, I want to go home. I want to put on my pajamas. I want to take my contacts out. I want to eat
Well,
something.
you know
Lots
what you
of
should do
chocolate
before you
drops,
do
yeah.
any of that, but anybody who's still listening to us, hit that like, subscribe, follow, share.
all the free stuff.
Well, you mentioned shouting out our boy Mike, right?
Yeah.
Yesterday was his 41st birthday. Right?
42nd, I believe, because I think he's a year
he had
older
a year
than
on you, right? Yesterday was Mike's 42nd birthday, and nobody delivered the request better than Mike. And I'm going to try and do my best Mike impersonation right now.
Let's hear it.
So make sure to do all the things: like, share, subscribe. Just make sure to do all the things.
All the things.
Like, share, and subscribe. Like, he was always so monotone about it. And it's like, dude, we're begging people to click a button. Let's have some excitement about it. Like, share, subscribe. Please.
Do
We're trying to be able to stream on
all the
Facebook here.
things. We need 15 more people. 15 people, just go in, hit that little follow button or a like button there on the YouTube or on the Facebook page, and we can start streaming there live. We're not far off.
Send me the link so I can share that. I'm gonna put that
I
on
will.
my Instagram and Facebook. See if I can get us those 15.
Let's do it. Let's do it. And until next week, thanks. I think that's going to about wrap it up here for us. We hit everything. Shout out to Ohio State for that. Shout out to CC Sabathia, Ichiro, and Billy Wham.
I'm with you on that.
Ichiro did get in? I saw somebody complain that he didn't get in.
No, what they complained about is he didn't get in. One person didn't vote him in unanimously. So he's like Jeter. They're the two people now that have not been voted in by one vote. So Mariano is the only one that ever got a perfect. Everybody voted for him. Gotcha. Ichiro got 393 out of 394 possible votes.
And the one guy that didn't vote for him just wanted to be like, well, I don't want to be unanimous.
That's just it. And so people, because this is done anonymously, like when you send in your ballot, people like John Heyman, a couple other big sports writers out there were like, put the name out there. Put your name on this. Who did this? Because
have the balls.
But again, Ichiro was a phenomenal player. Honestly, one of the game's best.
MLB, didn't he start in the Japanese league or something like that?
Yeah. But I mean, what he did coming straight to the MLB, he was Ohtani way before Ohtani was Ohtani. You know what I mean?
He was awesome.
He didn't have the pitching aspect, but he probably could have pitched if you asked him to. He was just a baseball
It was in his blood. Yeah, it was in his blood.
So shout out to CC, who's gonna go in it with a Yankee cap on. So shout out to CC for that.
I love the picture of him on the phone finding out, and he's surrounded by his family. He knew that was the day that he would get the call. So it would have sucked if he didn't get the call, but at least he would have been surrounded by family and friends. Hey, don't worry, you'll get in next year. Whatever. But the picture that when he answered that phone, you could see everybody's face in that picture. They all knew exactly what that call was about. And I thought, you guys know me, I'm not a big baseball fan, but when guys give the sport they play everything they have, and you can tell they love the game. You could tell CC loved the game of baseball. So when you see that and those guys get rewarded with that eternal recognition, you can't not appreciate it, even if you're not a fan of the sport itself. So I thought that was really cool to see.
There's only been 15 to 20 first ballot Hall of Fame pitchers, too. There's not many guys.
No, listen, he deserves it, so it was great to see. The only one that I'll say I think is a bit of a snub still, but he better eventually get in, is A-Rod.
And Danny.
Well, I'm just saying, once you started letting any of the steroid guys in, you gotta let them all in.
Bro. Clemens.
Bonds, the rest of them.
Bonds.
Again, but Sosa. I also look at it too. The P-Rose should be in it, and it's sad that he will never get the chance to see it if he does. And that to me will always stick with me. But
that'll be some shit where they're like, all right, well now that he died, we'll put him in.
Yeah, and but his family's already said don't do it because that was his wish. He's like, if he didn't get him when he was alive, we don't give it to him post.
We'll put him in.
Yeah, and I think what works in his favor is so many people think he should be in there, so that even if he never makes it in there. I mean, until these, you got generations that basically need to die out before you don't remember Pete Rose's name as a Hall of Fame player. So,
but A-Rod was great. A-Rod only got 74, I think, % of the vote-ish.
Oh, so, that's okay. You need 75.
No, I think you need 80 or something like that, or is it 75? Whatever it was, 75. I think he got less than that. He got 70 something. I know he was in the 70s. I'm pretty sure. But yeah, we'll have to wait and see on him. And, like I said, the other steroid guys, if they're getting in, they're getting in. So let them in and put an asterisk if you feel you need to. It is what it is. It was an era of baseball that pitchers and batters both did it. So it is what it is.
You're never going to find the three of us in the Hall of Fame.
No.
But there are places that you can find us.
Yeah.
Where's that?
And, if I'm going to speak for myself.
Yeah, where can we find you?
You can find me on Twitter, now known as X, David Hastings 23, or on that IG, Instagram, DHastings23. And once again, please like, share, and subscribe, especially on Facebook. I'd love for us to be able to stream live on Facebook. I think a lot more people will be able to join us. So
absolutely,
throw that out there. But again, Joey, I know we're not going to be found in the Hall of Fame, but where can they find you?
They can find me on Instagram, baby, at that Joey.47. Oh, yeah.
And what's DOT stand for?
Die on this hill.
Yeah!
You can find me at The Living Legend on X or on YouTube at Die on This Hill, on Facebook at Die on This Hill. And if you want to follow our unofficial fourth co-host, he's at Louis Aussie Dude on the Instagram. So
he's whining right now because he's like, "Hey guys, wrap it up.
he wants
I need
dinner
attention."
too, believe it or not. Like
Him and Dave both
it's
want
past
dinner.
his dinner time. So with that said,
Quick shout out to Fife and Ryan, anybody that was in the chat, anybody that's come and gone. We appreciate all of y'all, and
we back talk some Super Bowl next week.
woo! Wait, we're not gonna talk Pro Bowl games? I'm
can.
done.
Hey, don't be afraid to have an opinion. And Die on This Hill with us.
Team NFC in the dodgeball game.